Okay, so hi guys, it's MissLollypop and welcome back to another one of my videos, or welcome to my channel if you are new. So in today's video, we are actually going through the creator sim for the new pack that's coming out, or that's already come out actually. It's called Snowy Escape and it is a pack themed around like Japanese culture. It's themed around, I'm guessing, like, you know, like the mountainous area. So a lot of the gameplay is catered towards, you know, skiing and a lot of, like, you know, snow sports and stuff like that. So it's going to be a really fun pack. But I have created some characters and a story, obviously, because this is me, to go along with the background of this pack. And, you know, to get started with an LP, I'm going to be covering like quite an extensive LP, as I always do, so that you guys can get into the gameplay, see if you would like to purchase, and also just follow through with the story that I have created for, you know, to discover everything that's included in this pack. So I'm going to go ahead and read out the story now, and then I can get you guys introduced to our lovely 3 characters. And then in episode 1 of the actual gameplay, you'll already know, you know, all the background and all the other external characters and stuff like that. So right now, you can see that I'm currently working on Yui Yamamoto, and then we've also got Haruto Yamamoto, which is her older brother, and we've also got Maya Durant. So Yui and Haruto are siblings, with Haruto being the eldest. He's very adventurous, much to his father's displeasure, and his lifetime aspiration is to explore Mount Komorebi's wilderness and hopefully become an extreme sports professional. His passion is to snowboard professionally as well. He also loves the outdoors and is a little bit of a goofball. He is very sociable and outgoing as well. And Yui, his younger sister, is the complete opposite of Haruto. She suffers with social anxiety and she's a lot more reserved with her social life than her brother. However, she absolutely adores her family, and her lifetime aspiration is to have a close-knit family, as she really believes in like family values and, you know, contributing to her whole family and making sure everybody's cared for and looked after and things like that. She also really loves art, and she spent a lot of time going to galleries, and she, you know, admires art. And that is actually where she met her best friend, Maya. Now, Maya is the youngest of all of them, not by much. Like, there's only around a year. There's around a year between Maya and Yui, and around 2 years between Yui and Haruto. So Maya is a lot different to Yui. She's an artist, and they both have a passion for art in common. But they both bring out the best in each other. Maya is very cheerful and very worldly. She's much more outgoing than Yui, and she helps to encourage Yui to get out and see things that she was never dreamed of before. She also really helps Yui to cope with her anxiety attacks that she suffers from. And Yui, on the other hand, actually brings out the more sensitive sides of Maya, and they both bounce like off of each other really well. Maya has a lifetime aspiration of experiencing the culture and sights of Mount Komorebi, and she also has the passion to paint the most beautiful parts of the new world that they will call her home as her muse. So that is her goal for sort of moving to Mount Komorebi. So that is where our story begins, but I want to go ahead and get back into the history of Yui and Haruto so you guys can sort of understand where they come from, the reason that they're moving back to Japan and Mount Komorebi, so it would make a little bit more sense for you guys. So the siblings are both originally from Mount Komorebi, and in fact their grandparents still live there, the grandparents on their mother's side, and throughout their childhood they grew up there with their mother Himari and their father Yukio. Now, their mother was very adventurous, which is, I'm guessing, is where Haruto gets his genes from for his, you know, daredevil adventurousness. But unfortunately, one day when Yui and Haruto were children, their mother Himari went out rock climbing, which was one of her hobbies that she did quite often. She went out rock climbing with her friend, and they both was very far at the peak of the mountain, and they got hit with an avalanche. Now, only their mother's friend actually returned with the news that their mother had died in the avalanche, because she spent hours trying to find her and could not find her. This completely devastated their father, because before he was so cheerful and funny and spontaneous and always suggested these fun things for the family to do. But after the death of his wife, he turned like aggressive and bitter, and he kind of enforced Yui and Haruto to study long hours, and this left Haruto resenting education and authority. He went on to foul school and actually got really severe punishment from their father. So to stop this, because Yui is so caring for her family, she tried even harder at school. She already excelled at school. She was amazing at school already. But she wanted to distract their father, you know, from Haruto with her like positive grades. Now, when the two kids were pre-teens, their father moved them out of Japan to Brightchester, hoping that being around universities would inspire the pair to go into further education. Now, Haruto was actually rejected from every university with his bad grades from schooling in Japan. His dad kind of forced him to apply. He didn't really want to apply to university. It wasn't really something that he wanted to go into, but he got rejected anyways, and he ended up with a job in like a small grocery store around the corner from where they used to live, and he absolutely hated it. Now, he, you know, just longed for the days when him and his mother would go sledging and skiing in the snow. And you know, he was really close to his mum, and they used to do a lot of like, you know, a lot of like winter sports and things together. So he kind of lost that when his mum unfortunately died. Now, Yui, on the other hand, she actually went to university to study economics, and she graduated with honors, but it was still never good enough for their father. He was always expecting more, and even after Yui tried so hard to keep their father distracted with her amazing grades, Haruto was also told that he wasn't anything compared to Yui, and it was always about Haruto's this, Haruto's that. No matter what Yui did, it was still never enough to their father. So it was, yeah, it was a really unfortunate childhood for them. So eventually, Haruto suggested that he would move away to Mount Komorebi, which is where they both grew up. He also managed to save up a small amount from working and offered his sister to move with him. Now, Yui, being like Haruto's shadow, she literally follows him everywhere. She absolutely adores her brother. She wouldn't ever leave her brother, and offered her best friend Maya, who she met in a nearby art gallery, to move to her nearby hometown with her. Now, Maya just left university for art, and she had just decided to start a new life with Yui. However, she did actually have a boyfriend in Brightchester, but thinking that Mount Komorebi would inspire these amazing, beautiful pieces of art that she would eventually show off in her own gallery, it kind of implored her to leave the small town of Brightchester and move away. Now, her boyfriend and her agreed to have a long distance relationship until he could move to Japan with her. So that is her current, you know, mindset, is that her boyfriend will be moving out with her. And that is basically where our story begins. So this is going to be the story of how our trio, our three simmies, are going to be getting on in the world of Mount Komorebi. Now, obviously, in the background, you've been seeing that we've been going through the creator sim, so we've already gone ahead and finished Yui. Yui was the first character that you're seeing. And then we're also working on Haruto right now, and then we'll work on Maya afterwards. Now, obviously, each of them are completely different, even though, you know, the first two are brother and sister and they've grown up with each other. They are such different people, and, you know, Maya, again, is completely different from all of them, but they all just work so well together. So I think they're, you know, I think they're an amazing group of people, and I'm really excited to sort of discover them a little bit more. And just as a few little like background notes, I suppose I should just let you guys know. Currently, Haruto actually has quite a big crush on Maya. Now, this has kind of gone about for, you know, a few years, because obviously Yui and Maya have been friends for quite a while now. So he kind of, you know, knew that he had a crush on her, but he hasn't pushed with it any further. One, because she's got a boyfriend and he's very respectful like that, and also two, is because it's literally his sister's best friend, so it's a little weird. And also considering that Maya is like a year younger than his youngest sister, it makes it a little bit weird, I guess, in his eyes. But he does still have a little bit of a crush on her. He loves like her spontaneousness. He loves the fact that she's like up for doing anything. You know, she's very worldly. She's already been to like so many places, and he's kind of like a bit envious of that, and would love to sort of discover those places with her. But he hasn't obviously pushed it any further. So that's kind of where he's sitting at with, you know, the whole entire group. So in the first episode of the LP, which is obviously going to be coming out tomorrow, all of our gang are going to be moving into Mount Komorebi. I'm also going to have a house build that is going to be going out as well, because I'm going to be making my first ever house for the Snowy Escape pack. So hopefully that will come out well. But that's going to be like a little starter house that they're going to move into. Obviously, they don't have too much money, because mainly all of the money that has come from Haruto, because he was really the only one working. So that's kind of where we're going with that. So I'm hoping, I'm very much hoping that, you know, they enjoy their life in Mount Komorebi, which I'm sure they will. Now, in terms of Haruto, he really aspires to be like a famous snowboarder. Snowboarding is kind of his passion. Don't get me wrong, he has skied before, and he's done sledging before, but he's not very good at it. He literally did it when he was a child, so it's, you know, he's not great at all. And obviously once his mum passed away, he could never ever go up to the mountain by himself, or, you know, with his dad would never take him up there. So he's not very good at it. He's lost probably everything that he once had. So he basically is starting from the beginning again. So he's gonna probably spend a lot of time up on the slopes, you know, practicing, and potentially taking up a drone up there if he can manage to afford to buy one, and take that up with him to, you know, practice, and, you know, record some footage of him learning from the, you know, from the end to the beginning. And he really does hope that he can pursue that and, you know, sort of become famous with that, or not famous, but just be like well known for, like, you know, a skill that he has, which he really wants to be good at. He really wants to be good at snowboarding. Maya, on the other hand, kind of has a similar aspect to herself. She really loves artwork. Obviously, she's an amazing painter. Now she's already traveled to like many different places, and she's always, you know, drawn or painted a lot of the areas that she's been to. But Japan is a completely different area to, you know, anywhere that she's ever been before. So she really does want to, you know, get some images herself and, you know, some paintings. And she was potentially, before she moved to Japan, when she was in Brightchester, she was potentially thinking that she would love to open up a gallery. Now, potentially when she moves to Mount Komorebi, there might be a space where she could open up her own gallery herself if she manages to get a job, get some money herself and open up an amazing little gallery, and then she could sort of showcase or sell some of her artwork that she makes while she's away here. That could be a really good business opportunity for her, so I think that'd be really good for her. And Yui, on the other hand, although she, you know, she has her own hobbies, she's definitely less invested in hobbies as the other two. She basically just sort of tags along and enjoys people's hobbies. You know, she just enjoys watching them enjoy themselves. So she loves to see Maya paint, because obviously she loves artwork herself. She can't actually paint. Poor Yui. She can't actually paint, but she loves to watch Maya paint, and she loves to see how they come out. And also she's always loved, like, going to the slopes and watching her brother, you know, ski and, you know, get better. He's always been very, like, adventurous and athletic, and she loves to sort of, you know, just appreciate other people's talents and things like that. So, you know, Yui, I feel like she's going to be concentrating a lot on her career. She's very career driven because her dad's kind of instilled that in her, and she, you know, she always wanted to look after her brother by making sure that, you know, she was always, you know, top dog basically, to kind of distract their dad from punishing Haruto for just being like an unruly child, I guess. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming him, you know, his mum did die, you know, I'm not blaming him for this, but I'm just telling the story as it is, okay? He's a little unruly. Now, Yui, she is probably gonna go into like salary person work, which I believe is a new career that came with Snowy Escape. She's probably gonna focus a lot on, you know, trying to work her way up in the ranks, just trying to make as much money as possible. Now, her dad did work as a salary person when he was living in Japan with them, so she will be going into the same sort of business as him. So hopefully that ends up working out okay. In terms of the relationship with their father right now, they don't have anywhere near as a good relationship, obviously. Yui probably has a better relationship with their dad than what Haruto does. Haruto basically not despises their dad, but doesn't like them. And also their grandparents, who are on their mum's side, so it's their mum's dad and their mum's mum, they actually also hate their father, or they really dislike him, because of, you know, the fact that he's not raising them as they think that they should be raised. He thinks that, you know, the grandparents think that the kids should be raised, you know, in the same way that their daughter would want them to be raised, basically their mum. Their mum was also really into sports, and they feel like, you know, they should have been given the opportunity to not just study all the time, but also to go out and do sports. They're very traditional and proper, but they also appreciate that, you know, not everybody's academically minded. There's a lot of people out there that, you know, are practically better, and they kind of appreciate that Haruto is like that. Also, their mum's dad, so their granddad, he's very active still. I mean, even though he's an elder and, you know, he's probably gonna be passing away soon, let's be honest here, he's still very active and loves rock climbing and things like that. So I think that's kind of, you know, where it's kind of stemmed from. So potentially Haruto will work up, you know, the mountains with his granddad and spend a little bit of time with him hiking and, you know, doing rock climbing, potentially sort of, you know, experiencing that with his granddad, which I think will be a really nice family gameplay. But we are now coming to the end of this Creator Sim, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this Creator Sim. Obviously, expect the first episode of the Snowy Escape LP to be coming out tomorrow. I'm really excited for you guys to see it, and also the house build as well. The starter house build is not going to be anything huge. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some screenshots of the of the guys at the end of this video, so you can stick around until the end to look at those, and I will speak to you guys all in my next video. I love you all. Bye guys.